Unicorns and glitter and taxidermy critters are just some of the things they like. They also enjoy 80s hair bands, Grizzly Adams and John Goodman, so if you think that's weird then you can take a hike. But the things they enjoy the most are making art and cracking jokes, so without further ado, here are your hosts. You've got your two artsy gals, your two artsy gals. Here are your two artsy gals.
Hey listeners, Katie here. Let me see what is going on this rainy, weird July afternoon in Portland. Not a lot. This episode was really super fun. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And Lonnie and I are headed out tomorrow morning to do an interview with the jewelry artist that we actually mentioned in this episode. So I think that is going to be our next week's episode, which we didn't know at the time of recording this. So we're headed out on a fun road trip tomorrow morning to interview Angela. And if you are hanging around Facebook tomorrow morning, I think we're going to do a couple of live broadcasts from the car on our trip, as long as we have cell signal, because we'll run out of that. Anyway, so look around for us being goofy tomorrow live on the Facebooks, because we're going to make a day of it, and it's going to be awesome. As always, you can support Two Artsy Gals in a few ways, and we need your support because we are a listener-supported podcast. Everything that we pay for, if we don't have listener donations to cover it, it comes out of our own pocket, and then we provide it to you for free. So if you love us, then support us. You can do that in a few ways. You can do it through PayPal. We have a PayPal button on our website. You just click donate, and you can do a one-time donation, or you can set it up to do a monthly donation, whatever works for you. You can also buy us items on our Amazon wish list, which is kind of sparse right now because I just cleared it out, but I'm getting ready to add some more stuff this afternoon as I work on our schedule, because it is podcast fixing day today. So check that out. You can do that through our website by clicking the Amazon wishlist button, and you can just send us something cool that you would like to see us or hear us, I guess, talk about. You can also just tell your friends about us. If you don't have the monies to support us, we totally get it, because we is broke too. But if you spread the word about us and tell everybody that we're awesome and that you love us and that they should love us too, then we have more listeners and more support. So that is an awesome way to do it. You can email us or call us to tell us things. If you want to ask a question about this episode or any other episode, or you have a friendly comment about the show or our episodes, or you want to sing us a silly song, whatevs, you can email us at twoartsygals at gmail.com, or you can leave a voicemail at 503-395-7190, and we might even play your voice on the phone, which will be super, on the show, which will be super awesome. You can subscribe to the podcast through iTunes as usual and use the iTunes podcast app. You can also subscribe through Stitcher and use the Stitcher podcast app. And you can now use the Podomatic podcast app, which will allow you to not only listen to our show, but to search for other awesome Podomatic podcasters. And now we are available on Google Play as well. So do that up. And we're working on some things in the future. We're looking for a summer intern local to Portland to help us with this project, because this is going to be a big undertaking. But we are making efforts to convert all of our audio files to video and have them available on our YouTube channel for listening to on the YouTubes. I think that's everything for this week. I hope you enjoy the show, and we will remember to check in on our Facebook tomorrow morning. It'll be before noon our time, maybe throughout the day though, because we're going to be hanging around Seaside, Oregon, and having a good day. So we might even live broadcast at the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, that is. Anyway, enjoy the show. Hey everybody, this is Katie.
This is Lonnie.
Sorry, and you're listening to Two Artsy Gals. Yay! had to clear my throat before I yayed because I felt like I was going to cough. That's dumb.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up, man? Oh my gosh. I have to tell you that we got the funniest. I don't know if you follow our Instagram very often, but Angela Whitlock, we're going to interview her in Astoria. We have to schedule this.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out.
She is in love with us in this show, and she listens to our show when she works, and she has gone through, probably by the time this airs, she'll be completely caught up.
Wow,
but she
Angela,
started at the beginning.
That's so cool.
And she's
Thanks.
listened to us all the way through, and she listens to us while
Aw.
she's in her studio making jewelry, and it's amazing jewelry, and I want to buy some.
Yeah.
There's this one thing that she posted the other day that's like just different kinds of metal and beach glass.
Ooh.
And it is so pretty.
Yeah.
And I want it. But I just wanted to, because she just said something on our Facebook the other day, or on our Instagram the other day. That's where she communicates with us the most. She was like, I love you guys. You're awesome.
Aw.
And she was like, I think on episode 100 or something. And so she's going to be caught up by the time this airs. But we
Nice.
just wanted to say, hey, Angela, thanks, man.
Hey.
We're glad you listened to us.
You're making cool shit right
You
now,
are
aren't
making
you?
cool shit. You're making cool jewelry. Think of me
That's
while
so
you're making
cool.
something.
That's cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do. Let's take a minute to say hey to Angela.
Hi, Angela.
Today, we're going to be talking about inkjet printing and how you can incorporate it into your mixed media artwork.
I love this because I've been struggling with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's start
I want it
off.
to just work out.
I know, and I think the big problems that people have are with inkjet printer ink running.
Yes.
Okay, so first let's make a distinction between, like, inkjet printers are probably what you have in your house. Unless
Yeah.
you're a professional and you bought, like,
Yeah.
laser printers are expensive.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to have a laser printer, especially a color printer.
They make beautiful prints.
They do make beautiful prints, but they're very expensive.
Yes.
So inkjet printers, you get them, the ink comes in the cartridges, and the computer tells it the pattern in which to spray it on your paper when it goes through there. And I did not know this, but you can purchase waterproof ink for your inkjet printer. It's more expensive, so there's that, because let's face it, the cartridges are not cheap anyway.
No, we're on this thing now. Scott works at HP and makes printers, and we have this thing where it's a monthly subscription, and the printer communicates with them when it's low on ink. It just automatically they send it out. It's kind of
that's kind of cool.
It's
Except
pretty
for
cool.
Sorry, Scott, I vowed to never own another HP printer in my life. Only because they made me mad.
Yeah.
They fucking infuriated me, but I'm not going to rant about that. That was years ago.
He just does the wireless part,
So,
which is probably the part that infuriates
no,
people, but-
no. It was other things. But those are expensive though. The waterproof, but they are made for higher end printouts and stuff. But if you can't afford that, I have a couple of tips before we get started on how to keep your inkjet prints from running.
Okay.
So, because now some of these you're not going to want to do these things to, because you're going to need it to be transferable, because we're going to talk about transferring images onto different surfaces.
Oh, okay.
But if
So
you're
in that
gonna
case, you don't want to do these things.
No, but in the case of stuff like when you're doing decoupage or collage or stuff like that, y'all know that dreaded moment when you're fucking spreading your Mod Podge or whatever, or your gel medium on it, and then it fucking runs.
Melts.
And you're like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, and
then you have a smear in there,
Yeah.
and then you're like, this pisses me off, man.
Yeah.
Or just when you've made like a print, like sometimes I print out labels, like shipping labels, or sometimes I print and you run your hand across something
Yeah.
and it smears.
Yeah.
So the biggest tip is patience, because you need to let that shit dry. And you need to let it dry completely. I know it's hard to not grab shit out of the printer bed and go, woo, and start cutting it up
Yeah.
and standing on stuff, but you gotta let it dry.
Yeah.
I would wait 10 minutes.
I saw another thing about putting it in a low temperature oven for.
Yes, or you can hit it with your heat gun.
Mm-hmm.
Or iron.
Cool.
Anything that will apply heat to it will make it dry faster. You can also seal it. And I think I mentioned a couple episodes ago, we were talking about something, but I remember saying hit it with a little bit of hairspray.
Mm-hmm.
Hairspray or spray fixative will work. And if you really want to be sure that it's not going to run or not going to get soup, bleed or whatever, you can also use like a Krylon clear coat.
Oh, okay.
I would recommend the matte or satin finish. Mm-hmm. Just because you don't and actually the matte finish doesn't even look like you have anything on there. It still looks like paper. So depending on what you're doing, but that will make it stick, and you just do really light coats, like probably a couple super light coats. And that will make sure that your ink isn't going to run.
Do you have to do the back too?
Nope, just the front. Also, don't use those. I know it's tempting to get the refilled cartridges or the kits where you refill cartridges yourself.
Yeah, Scott says those are crappy inks.
Well, first of all, they're often not correct color because they are crappy inks. They're not saturated inks. The pigments aren't as expensive. Like, it's just like any other paint. Like, the cheaper the paint that you buy, the more you need of it to make the color that you want, because the pigments aren't as strong. Also, something to know, if your printer breaks while you're using one of those and it's still under warranty, you have nullified your warranty by not using
the printer
cartridges that you need. Because my husband stopped at I don't know, they have a store like in Beaverton. I don't know if it's a chain.
Those refill ink
store
things.
I put one in and my printer goes, do you know that this is not a proper blah, 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 whatever. Epson, I think is the brand of printer I have. This is not an Epson cartridge. And it explains very explicitly that if you continue to use this cartridge and something happens to your computer, we're not fixing it for you.
Wow.
Like, it nullifies your warranty.
Wow.
So
that's what you get for trying to save a few bucks.
I know that it's tempting to do so, but it's also poorer quality ink that will run more. In addition to the possibility that it could fuck up your printer. And
I've noticed the paper quality makes a difference too.
Paper quality also makes a difference. If you are using regular printer paper, it's going to run more. That is not meant for art quality paper. Photo papers were meant for the ink dries faster.
It had this brochure paper that was like slightly glossy. I love that stuff.
You may consider buying some photo paper. And let's talk about papers as we start off here. There's a lot of specialty papers and stuff that you can buy, and I think that we would be remiss if we didn't talk about those really quickly. Some of my favorites. You have like the iron-on papers that you can buy.
So cool.
Here's a tip I'm going to keep reminding you guys about throughout this episode. When you're using stuff like iron-on papers, or you're doing photo transfers or anything like that, you need to flip your text. If there's text in it, you need to flip it backwards.
Or you're like,
so that when you
just
put it,
this expensive piece of stuff. Yeah.
Always flip it. Always.
Yes.
Always also print a test on regular printer paper. Because a lot of times when you're doing any of this stuff that we're going to talk about today, you need to increase the saturation of color. Because
it makes it so much better.
It really makes it look less faded. So even though it looks like shit on your screen,
it's like,
or
whoa,
it
that's
looks like
obnoxious.
shit when you print it, you're like, mwah. Trust me when I say that when you transfer that image, you're going to be happy that you did that.
Yeah. Boop, boop. I'm a dog. Boop, boop.
Hey, Doodah. It's okay.
I'm a dog.
Come here, buddy.
Boop, boop.
There's the garbage truck is out there.
It's exciting.
So they also I have tattoo paper.
Oh, cool.
So like it makes like lick and stick tattoos.
Nice.
But I've also used that to transfer images into mixed media art and stuff.
That's brilliant.
You just spritz it with a little bit of water and then take it off, and it kind of, especially when you're working
like
with
leaving a
fabric-y
stamp.
stuff. Yeah, kind of.
Cool.
It's just like when the tattoos you get in Cracker Jacks when you were a kid. Well, and the fake tattoos, you can buy them all over now. You couldn't buy those when I was a kid, when we were kids, by the way. Like your stick-on tattoos.
Yeah.
That our kids were always covered in when they were little. No, you had to buy fucking Cracker Jacks and hope you got a tattoo.
Yeah.
And I will tell you.
And now they have like really fancy ones at Pals that are really cute.
And they have glitter in them.
Yeah.
When I was a little girl, I was really excited because I got a Cracker Jack tattoo. And I was really little, and my Uncle Mike tipped me over his knee and stuck it to my butt.
Oh.
And then, not only did he waste my tattoo on my butt where I couldn't see it, he said, "Oh no, Kate, you got a crack in your butt. It's broken." And I cried and cried and cried because my butt was broken because it had a crack in it.
Aww.
I was probably like 4. Like, I vaguely remember this. I do remember it though. That's the first, probably one of the only times I've ever been mad at that uncle. I was furious with him. I was so mad.
I would be too.
I think my mom got mad at him for putting the tattoo on my butt too. He laughed and laughed and laughed. I thought he was so fucking funny.
Oh yeah.
I did not think he was that funny. Do not put tattoos on kids' butts. It's rude.
Yeah.
Just wait till they grow up and can permanently make mistakes on their own.
Yeah.
But what other kind of papers? There's sticker papers.
Uh-huh.
You can print stickers.
There's fabric sheets you can print on.
I did not know that, but we're going to talk about printing on fabric later too. So I didn't know that was a thing. Mm-hmm. You can print on transparencies, of course. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about ways to use those that we didn't already talk about in our transparencies episode.
Yeah, and this brochure, I think it's called brochure paper, and it's like a it's like a satin finish. Mm-hmm. And so it's not as stiff as photo paper. It's like a magazine paper more. I really like that stuff because then it's not as thick.
Oh yeah,
but the colors come out really pretty on it.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want a thick paper when you're
like
collaging or something like that.
Yeah, and it works really nice for.
Well, and we also, I think, have to acknowledge all of the like cardstock papers and like all that run-of-the-mill colored papers. Mm-hmm. It depends on your project and what you're doing.
Or we've talked about printing on tissue paper.
Yeah, tissue paper. I'm not going to go over that in too much detail, but I will talk about it again when we get to methods to printing on fabric because they're very similar. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I don't know. You should just go look in your fucking office supply store at all the different kinds of paper because you'll probably find shit that we didn't talk about.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff.
There's all kinds of crazy stuff.
Ooh, or when people print on book pages, that looks cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah,
and always
like
know you can adjust the size of your printer.
Yeah.
Like you can adjust, like some
There's
people, my mom for years didn't know that she could, like she didn't know what the little adjustable part was for. And I'm like, it's for using different sizes of paper. And she's like, you can do that? And I'm like, you could print on envelopes. You can do whatever.
I forget about that all the time too. Oh yeah, I can do that.
So you can just tell your printer to do in your printer software that you want to print something a custom size and print on, like Lonnie said, book pages, which it looks really cool.
It does. It's really
pretty. I printed
pretty.
some stuff out on sheet music once.
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty
like,
too.
Like I printed digital art that I had made on a piece of sheet paper, and it was really cool because then like the sheet music shows through. It was really neat. The biggest thing that I found tutorials for, though, is there are so many ways of printing images and transferring them on to different surfaces. Mm-hmm. I will acknowledge, we told you last week that we got that big fucking load of Mod Podge shit. Uh-huh. We got Photo Transfer Medium. Uh-huh. I didn't know that Mod Podge made it, but it is,
it's so cool.
It is a way to transfer images that you've printed off onto fabric. Mm-hmm.
Or wood.
Or whatever. I think they show a lot of fabric in the examples.
Yeah.
Though. And Lonnie's I have a little a little bottle of it. I kept a sample size bottle, but I gave Lonnie the big bottle because I know that her and her kid Colin are going to go ape shit.
The thing about it, I noticed, is you have to wash it a special way. Cool water hand wash, I think.
Oh.
So you might want to do it for things on like pillows or things that you don't wash as much.
Yeah, if you're not good at doing the hand washing. Maybe not on clothing.
Because I was thinking, ooh, like pretty kitchen towels, but then I was like, oh, that wouldn't be very practical. No. But pillows or other things, yes.
So, or hats or t-shirts.
Or the mixed media necklaces now that I want to make. Yeah.
So, but I'm going to go over some ways of transferring images that you have printed on your inkjet printer. These are situations that you're not going to want to seal the image. Don't do the things that we talked about in the beginning of the episode where we're saying if you're going to use your images for collage or whatever, to seal them, do not seal them because you are banking on the fact that the ink is going to release from the paper. Mm-hmm. That's how you're doing the transfer. So this is a really cool way to do it. Golden makes, I'm sure there are other brands too, but this is the brand that I saw in the tutorial I found, liquid polymer medium. So you're going to paint 5 to 7 coats. It said 5 or 6, but I don't do anything in even numbers. It's a weird thing about me. I have to do things in odd numbers. Because there has to be a middle. Yeah. I don't know. It just upsets me. So 5 to 7 coats, going different directions. So you do one up and down.
And this is on the image
image, on the face of the image that you want to use.
Okay.
So you're going to let that dry. And then you're going to let it dry between layers, and then you're going to let the whole thing dry overnight. You're going to want to let it dry completely. And again, before this, you have, of course, waited and let the ink dry on your paper that you printed it off on. For this, I would really recommend using just regular printer paper. Mm-hmm. Not the more expensive photo papers.
Yeah, for transfers, yeah.
Yeah. So once that dries, though, overnight, you're going to do just like you would do, like we've talked about the packing tape transfers. You're going to put that in water. Warm water usually helps.
Oh, yeah.
And let it soak. And then you're going to use your fingers and you're going to roll all the paper off of it. And it has made this like plasticky polymer transparent image transfer.
So cool.
And then you can use the polymer to glue it down to whatever you're doing. Also, it recommends using the polymer medium to adhere it.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
So cool.
I really want to try that. I want to get some
I've seen people do that with Mod Podge as well, even just regular Mod Podge.
It's hard to, Mod Podge does get soft with water though.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would think that something that was actually made for that would probably be.
So their transfer medium, hopefully,
yes.
Yeah. Because it's thick. I think that's what the thing is with that. It's just a thick.
So a paper transfer also. So you're going to apply polymer gloss to the paper that you want your image to go on this paper, this special paper. You don't want to run through your printer or whatever, or you want to like have a more ghostly image, or you want it to go in the middle of some kind of collage you're doing or a painting. So you've prepared your background. It has all the paint on it and the background texture, whatever you're doing. So you're going to put the liquid polymer gloss directly on the paper that your piece of artwork. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to take your inkjet printed image and you're going to flip it face down, set it in the polymer, and you're going to burnish it with the back of a spoon. I like to use a spoon to burnish things. Like burnish just means rubbing it. Mm-hmm. Rub it really hard. And evenly to transfer the image. I have a wooden spoon that I use for that a lot. That is just my studio spoon. Also, you could use a metal spoon. And you just rub it and evenly for, I don't know, a couple minutes. You pull it up and the image has been transferred into the polymer.
Cool. Yeah.
So,
okay.
And remember, in all of these image transfers, with the exception of, I think, when you've transferred it onto stuff like tape or the liquid polymer, the first one that we talked about, you're going to be gluing, it's going to be a transparent image, and you're going to be assuming you're going to be flipping it over and putting the side. It is going to be right side up, so you don't have to worry about flipping the image. The text is what I'm saying. But in this case, anytime you're taking an image from paper and putting it on something else like this, you're going to want to remember to flip your text so you don't have backwards writing in your artwork. Mm-hmm. Sometimes maybe you want backwards writing. I don't know. I don't always like that. And always amp up your color.
Yes.
You want super saturated color, ridiculously so. Like you are going to go, that looks like dog shit. But it won't.
Oh, garish. Oh, my.
Yes,
but it will look lovely on your thing that you put it on.
It will.
I'm getting ideas.
I can see. Lonnie has the idea.
My foggy, like, far away look. Yeah.
No, you get this, like, you raise your eyebrows when you have an idea. And then you do kind of space out, but you always raise. I know when you're like, little light, you can see the light bulb going off behind Lonnie's eyes because her eyebrows go up.
Sorry.
I do the same thing. Wax paper transfer. You can print. You can print directly on wax paper.
What?
So you can transfer it in two ways.
Like heating it up.
You can heat it up with an iron.
And go.
And rub it on stuff. Or you can, again, burnish it with a spoon.
Like on your crayon drawings.
Yeah, and this also looks like the wax paper transfer. I saw them do it on a piece of wood. Like a piece of furniture that they had painted, and then it makes a really cool, kind of, almost gives it an antique texture when you transfer it.
Fascinating. How the fuck does the ink stick to the wax?
I don't know. It just does.
Okay.
Transparency transfers.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you print on a transparency, remember when you're using the transparency paper, the slightly rough side is the side that you want to print on. And then you would put your liquid gel medium or your Mod Podge or whatever you're using on whatever you want the image transferred to. And then you lay the transparency print side down in that. And very gently, you don't want it thick because you don't want it squishing around in there to run the ink.
Yeah.
You want to roll, I would use like a brayer and gently roll over the top and then peel it up. And then you have transferred your image.
Wow.
Onto your stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah. I saw a cute technique. Sorry, this lady
going.
used to prevent running in your printed images. She rolled a thin layer of Mod Podge onto like what are those called? Like a writing pad or like a plastic. What the fuck?
Like a cutting, like a self-healing cut
like a mat. Yeah, like a
mat.
plastic mat. Rolled a thin layer of Mod Podge on there, took her image and just kind of, put it on there, brayered it a little bit and lift it. And then you just have a nice thin layer of Mod Podge over it. It seals it, kind of. That was another interesting.
That is a good way to do it, but keep in mind that Mod Podge is water soluble.
Yeah.
So at some point, if you're doing something that's going to stay wet for any length of time, I think you want to seal it with something a little bit more permanent than Mod Podge.
Do like the Krylon idea. I really need to just get myself some of that.
Remember ventilation.
Yeah.
If you use the spray stuff.
Do it outside or in the garage or something.
And I actually really prefer Krylon brands.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just feel like
we should send them a letter too.
We should. Dude, now that I know that that's a thing, I'm fucking sending. Oh, I have a list of people on my computer I'm going to be sending letters to. But, I don't know. I've just had better luck with Krylon for some reason.
Yeah.
I've also had fewer instances of having a weird reaction to it. Because like I told you, I think I've shared before, there are a couple things that I've had some pretty intense reactions to, even using them outside and then letting it dry completely, just touching it as I'm working. I've had some pretty bad reactions. So something somewhere has something that I'm allergic to in it. And I have not found that is the case with Krylon.
Awesome.
Brands.
Fabric.
Printing on fabric. So I didn't even know this was a thing until a few years ago. My friend Alicia told me that she does this. I'm going to talk about the method that she uses in a minute. But I didn't know you could do this. Now, here's the thing I'm going to say. Disclaimer. If you break your fucking printer doing anything that we say to do, we didn't tell you to do it. You didn't hear it here. Like,
you read it on the internet or something.
I'm just saying that know
Pinterest.
that there is a chance for paper jams or in this case fabric jams. Like, some printers are fucking picky about stuff. So this will work in most printers. And I think that the thing with these is to be patient.
Have good edges.
Have clean edges.
I use a roller cutter.
Ooh, I can't go straight with those for some reason. I have just this thing. Even
Yeah.
if I use a ruler, I have a problem with that. But
Or
if you're
good
good
scissors.
at that, or good scissors, just, and I would also recommend running a small test. Like, don't print a whole entire image
Or you
out.
can buy fabric sheets.
You can
print on.
buy,
You could
like
maybe
Lonnie
start
said,
with those.
I didn't know that those were a thing. But
Yeah.
apparently you can buy fabric sheets that you can
Kinda
print on.
expensive, so it's annoying. But I think maybe if you want just to see how your printer does with it, maybe have those first and then play with the making your
and
own.
most of the things that I have seen, people are using muslin to print on, which is a kind of cotton. I would stick to cottons or silks, natural fibers, and smoothly fibered. Like, I did see ones where people printed on burlap. I wouldn't trust that to run through my printer. Like, I don't know
so
how they
thick,
were doing
yeah.
it. I would stick to thinner cotton or natural fiber fabrics without a lot of texture to them. Just to be, well, first of all, to get the most crisp image, I would imagine. But also to prevent damage to your printer.
Yeah.
So, first way to do this is spray adhesive. And these are actually very similar to the things that, like I said, we talked about with printing on tissue paper. Only fabric's not as delicate. So, for the spray adhesive, you're going to use cardstock. You're going to lightly spray a piece of cardstock, and then you're going to put it on the fabric you're using. I would recommend rolling over that with a brayer to make sure that there are no bubbles and that it's adhered all the way around. It's stuck very well. You may want to, I think in the tissue paper, the episode when we talked about tissue paper transfers, just stick it to a different piece of paper a couple of times, like a paper bag, and take it off the sheet of cardstock, just so you don't have too much adhesive on it, because you're going to want to be able to peel the fabric off after you've printed it. So once it's adhered to that paper, you're going to cut the edges, make sure they're very clean. You don't have any hanging over.
Try to make it paper size.
Yes. And you're going to print it. And again, you don't have to do 8.5 by 11 size.
You can do others.
Printouts. You can tell your printer that you want to print in a different size. As long as it's not bigger than your actual, unless you want to fucking piece shit together. But, within the size range of your printer, you can say, I want to do, like this lady printed on fabric. She made a little skirt for her daughter. So it was tiny, because it was a tiny skirt. Her daughter was like a toddler. But she just had a whole sheet. She told it she wanted it to be like 3 yards long. And it just printed this really cute little border print.
Jeez, wow.
So
that's brave.
Yeah, right? She must have done a test first. Like a test in a section first. So the other way, and the way that I like to...
Brave crafting.
Yes. The way that I like to do this, and I think I'm going to try this maybe with tissue paper, I prefer using the freezer paper method of printing, which is, I think we talked about using freezer paper for stencils way back in our, were you here for a stenciling episode, or was that Sharon? I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
No, it was Sharon, because I did something for our video, the music video, which if you don't know, there is a music video of our theme song on our YouTube channel. Because we made a little puppet video. It was really funny for our 1 year
Yeah.
thing. So, anyway, you're going to iron your fabric. Iron the tissue paper onto the fabric. You're going to put it shiny side down. Mm-hmm. Shiny side's the one you want on the fabric. You want that on the back side of the fabric. Mm-hmm. You're going to iron that on. Once it cools, you're going to cut it and have clean edges. Mm-hmm. And then you run it through your printer. And then it peels right off of the tissue paper or the freezer paper.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. I've tried it and I used a less expensive, like, it was more like a muslin, not even, I think it was too textured, the fabric I used, and it was smeary. Like, I still couldn't figure out how to seal it properly.
Oh, well, you mean after it came off? Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a tip for you.
Thank you.
How to make it more permanent is you are going to, after you've printed everything onto your fabric,
let it dry, I'm sure.
Well, yes, and then you're going to give it a white vinegar bath.
Oh.
So you just put it in a shallow pan. You're going to cover it in white vinegar, let it soak for 10 minutes, and then take it out and let it air dry. And once it dries, the vinegary smell will dissipate from the fabric. So it's kind of
like Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Like dyeing Easter eggs.
You're setting it with an acid, I guess, is vinegar.
Fucking sweet, man.
Fucking sweet.
Shit's awesome because vinegar is so affordable.
It is. I actually have a tub of vinegar in my studio, a big tub of white vinegar that I use for, you've heard it talked about on the podcast a bunch. Like I use it when I'm trying to make, like, force a patina on copper. I use it for lots of shit. I use it for setting dyes. Now I'm going to use it for this shit too.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you print shit off on fabric, you can do, like, I saw the coolest quilt. Somebody had just taken muslin and printed out, like, these old-timey pictures. Like, they're like drawings, even. They're, like, not like photographs. Of course, you could use photographs. Mm-hmm. But they did these, like, old cool, like, there was, like, a wagon wheel, and there were just, like, old cool pictures that they then incorporated. They were each their own quilt squares, alternating with, like, other put together quilt squares. I don't do quilting.
Yeah.
Not that patient. Not that good at it. I do want to do an episode about quilting though, because it's cool. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. It's something that I think can be incorporated into many, mixed media fiber art projects or whatever, but we're going to have to have
with
a
your
guest
embroidery
to talk about
too.
it.
Like,
yes,
print something and embroider onto it. And
yes,
make it...
and I think that it would be also a good way to print. Even if you just wanted really quickly to print your pattern, like sometimes when I'm doing big things, because I like to draw my own embroidery patterns. I don't buy them. Mm-hmm. Or I transfer, like, this one thing that I'm working on. I, like, wrote out a poem in this very scripty handwriting.
Ooh, yes, if you want to have good handwriting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to embroider that, but the transfer stuff is, like, chalky. Mm-hmm. And so as I'm working, I find that it rubs off because it's a long thing.
Yeah.
So I think that printing on if you're using white fabric or lighter colored fabric, printing, or if you find a font that you want to use, it's really cool. Printing that out might be a better option than trying to sketch it or trace it or transfer it onto.
Do you need to reverse it? Wait, no.
No, you won't need to reverse it. No.
Unless, cool. Oh my gosh, yes.
So that might be, actually, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. That'll make things easier.
I'm in the market for a new printer. Like, I've had that one for about 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's starting to make this, like, it's an all-in-one, like, scanner.
Yeah.
Printer or whatever.
Yeah.
And it makes a really weird noise now when it scans. And I feel like the belt that moves the light bulb thing is probably going bad. Like, but I've had it that's been a very good printer. I've had it for a long time. So I don't feel very bad about having to replace it. Because there's actually a newer, better version of the printer that I have now that
Ooh,
just
nice.
is more higher. It's like 7 years of technology in this brand, so
Yeah.
it's better quality prints.
Yeah. And you'll be able to print from your phone and stuff.
Yeah, I want a wireless printer too, because then I can put it on a shelf or somewhere. Like, it doesn't have to be in this little shit show of electronics that I have going on in my little office corner, or I can get a special shelf for it. But yeah. So you all know you can use all the pictures, anything in your art. I feel like we don't need to really explain the mixed media aspect of this tool. But I think that this is going to give you guys some really great things to experiment with and try.
Like these cool necklaces I've been looking at that you could do a picture and then do the beadwork.
That's when I got, when you showed me that, I was like, you just wait, we're going to talk about this. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what we're going to be back with next week, because I've been changing things up. Like, I had our summer schedule.
Yeah.
But then I had to go like, oh wait, now we're going to do the big Mod Podge episode coming up. And then, we've had a couple of interviews that haven't worked out for scheduling reasons or other things. And then we just haven't scheduled the other one. But, so I've changed things around. So sometimes it's going to be a surprise episode. There you go. There you have it. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. That's what. I don't know why I just got that way about it, but I gotta poop, so we gotta go.
Yeah, I got stuff to do myself.
And we're gonna go have lunch.
Yum!
So yeah, until next week, go fucking make some cool image transfer things from your printer, yo.
Yeah, do it now. Good morning, Katie. This is your friend. I'm recording on the new Tascam. I'm trying to figure out what the buttons do, but every once in a while I take a break to poo.